Girl, I think you're royalty and you deserve nothing less than my loyalty. You hold me down in return, you get more of me. That's how it feel when you're someone's priority, babe. Now what you gonna do with that? I know you ain't used to that. I'll show you better, babe. I'll show you better. I know you're used to letdowns and heartbreaks.
All right. It's Grown Folks Business live on InnerlightRadio.com, and I can tell you tonight, I just don't even know. I'm almost speechless. If it wasn't for this coquito, I'm telling you, I wouldn't have much to say because I am speechless. I am your hostess with the mostest, Goddess Sierra, and I'm here with the lovely hostess with also, she might have the mostest too. Yeah, she does. She's my favorite person. It's Goddess Earlene.
Good evening. Good evening.
She got the mostest of a whole lot if you ain't never seen her in person.
Good God Almighty.
Yeah, she got that good googly goo, honey. I want to get, she got that what it do down there. But I'm telling you what, even that good googly goo got boogers looking at something else, Earlene. Listen, I'm going to tell you all. You can call in at 310-928-7733, but I'm going to get it started because it's getting hot in her. And I'm going to keep my clothes on because I don't know who's sleeping with men. Nelly, a little bit of a little bit of When I tell you no, listen, I cannot even understand, overstand what is going on in our community with the amount of men practicing, because they say they're not gay. So I'll say practicing homosexuality with one another, which I always thought was gay. But I'm being schooled that it's not gay. And it's especially not gay if you are on top. That it's only gay for the person who's on the bottom. Earlene, what you think about that?
Do what now?
I talked to some brothers today and they said to me, it's not gay if you're on top. It's only gay if you're the person being penetrated. I was like, really?
You know, I got to be honest. I mean, I think that it's the same for either a woman or a man. If you put it in your tail or you put it in your mouth, it is gay. I mean, but that, you know, that's coming from me. I'm not gay. I don't know how people, and I don't know if that's just an excuse for them to say that they're not homosexual. I mean, if you homosexual, just be gay. Just embrace it. Stop making up excuses. That's like saying, you know, hey, that's like giving somebody an accidental salad toss or something.
Right. It's like, how did you end up with a butthole in your mouth? It's the booty hole.
I mean, I bumped into it by mistake. You know,
right.
I tell you, I didn't mean to. You know,
and
I just brushed past it.
And here's the thing for me. I've been hearing a lot of women say that they can't wait to buck a man and things. I didn't know what that was. I had to look it up because I didn't understand the term. But it was about lifting up your legs like behind your head and being plowed. And I hear a lot of women saying, a lot of women saying that they love to buck their men. And I'm like, there's something about a man with his legs up in the air, with a dildo inside of him that's not really turning me on.
So you mean, wait a minute, whoa.
I know, right? Yeah, I've been talking today.
I'm confused. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So there are people. Which is not the first time that I've heard this, but it's coming out of your mouth, so it must be true.
Right.
So you mean there are people who are, you know, putting their men.
Yes.
With their legs up.
Yes.
And they are putting stuff in them.
They are strapping on prosthetic lingams and tearing their men up. Yes, they are.
I guess you got to do what you got to do to keep them.
Listen, that's not even keeping them. That's the thing. I remember when in 2007 when Ahmadinejad, the Iranian president, was like, there are no gay people in Iran. Because in Iran, that's what he said. He said, because gay people can't live here without persecution and death. He was not playing. And he was like, ain't no gay men here. But I do know because I have a niece that went to school overseas in Arabic countries. And she said that it was very common for the young school age boys to get with one another, and it was perfectly okay as long as they were still boys. But once they became men, they would be persecuted or killed. And so I would doubt to say that there's no homosexual men in Iran. They just are forced to have a beard, literally
What?
on their face and at home, because if they get caught, they're going to be killed. There were also two Iraqi men, which is the country's been broken up, so it's Iran and Iraq now, and which used to be Babylon, which now America is Babylon like a mug. But there were two, I believe they were Iraqi soldiers who fled because they fell in love after seeing one another, and they were fled and allowed into the United States. I was reading their story the other day. And so, and I thought to myself, wow, that's one way that you can come into America. You can't be Haitian, but you can be, Iraqi and gay, and they'll give you, amnesty or whatever. But if you're fearing persecution for being black or killed by the government, they tell you to go back. So I thought that was funny, because they were allowed in simply because they would have been persecuted for being homosexual. Both of the men said that they had never been with a man or anything, but it was like they kind of knew when they saw each other. It's like an energetic attraction. Okay, if you say so. And so what bothers me the most, and I have gay family members, both male and female. I have, gay friends, both male and female. And so, no, I am not a homophobe, even that's what people think. But I do have my own value system, and I don't really believe in bisexual. I believe in homosexual and heterosexual, and bisexual is a term that homosexual people use to be accepting of their actions. That's just what I believe, because I just don't think that a woman who's fully heterosexual will knowingly lay down with a man that is homosexual or claiming to be bisexual, but then I could be wrong.
I think that they would.
Well, I can tell you what, I'll go back to a boyfriend that I had, and I didn't know what was wrong with him. We were always kissing and touching. This was years ago. And it would always get to first base, and then it would be over with. I would see him fully erect and aroused, and we'd be kissing and sweating, and then he would just stop. I didn't know what it was, but that went on for 6 months. And then finally, he said to me, I'm going to use a different name. I'll use an alias. We'll call him Jermaine, because that's his real name. And so he said to me, he said, I want to talk to you. And I said, okay. And he said, I've never been with a woman, but I've done everything else. And I was like, oh, yes, a virgin. My mind never went there. I thought he meant that he kissed, maybe had some oral, but never used his lingam to execute the job. And I said, oh, so you've had oral sex? He was like, yes. And I was like, you've touched, kiss? He was like, yes. And I was like, okay. I was naming all the stuff. And he was like, yes, yes, yes. And he was like, but only with men. Skirt, huh? I was like, what? And I was like, okay, so how did this happen? And he began to share with me that every day at 12 o'clock noon, Eastern Standard Time, his brother would rape him to the tune of The Young and the Restless. He knew on cue, yes, honey, to pull his pants down. I think it was at 12:30 every day. And during the whole doom, 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 his brother would be tearing his butt up for that whole 5-minute segment. And so he told me that at 17, he told his parents, they accused him of being a liar and threw him out. And he ran away. And where did he run? To ATL. And that's where he was taken in by a rich white doctor. These are his story. And he was a body slave. And I said, what is that? And he was like, well, in exchange for gifts and clothing and a place to stay, I had to have sex with multiple friends and people that came over that he basically sold me to, and he kept all the money. He took him out, lavished him with meals. And so I was young. What was I, 19? He was so fine. I was like, oh, my God, he was so fine. I was like, it can't be true. I said, well, that doesn't make you gay. See, I said, this makes you a victim because I
He
was
must have been real fine because
he was, baby, listen, he was so fine. I had a temporary lapse in judgment. But really coming out of molestation myself, I felt like he was placed in those circumstances because I had done a little bit of hoeing. It just hadn't been with any girls. And I figured, hey, a little bit of hoeing is understood when you come out of sexual trauma. And so because he told me he was held captive by this white doctor and his brother was raping him, I didn't feel like his acts were consensual. I felt like he was forced into it. So he comes to the house one day and I'm just like, this is it. We're going to do it because my belief was I was going to make him ungay. That was my belief, like this black man cannot be. Yeah, I was a young girl, just caught up on looks and no attributes or anything. So the next thing I know, he comes in the door and I jump on him and I'm kissing him and he went into complete hysteria.
Oh, he said, the JJ off of me.
No, we didn't. I had my clothes on. There was no, I didn't rape him, but I let him know what I wanted when he hit the door. He was like, oh. I said, what in the world? And then he said, Jermaine needs time for Jermaine. And I knew when he started speaking in the third person and he was right there that he was gay. I said, you are Jermaine.
Oh, man.
But I realized then he had succumbed to the system. He was full into the life. And the next time I saw him, he was rubbing grease on himself in a bikini at the neighborhood pool. And I realized it was over.
Oh my God! That's a bad love story right here.
Yeah, but listen, what I'm saying is that when he started calling himself by his own name in the room with me, I knew the brother was gay. He wasn't down low. He was like, Jermaine needs time for Jermaine, and Jermaine needs to figure out what Jermaine wants. And I was like, Jermaine is gay, and I let Jermaine alone. So, he was struggling. I tried to be down for a brother. I tried to see what was going on, but that was cool. Now, Jermaine at least was honest. Jermaine told me that Jermaine had been with men. Now we have a different paradigm. We have men moving into your house, putting rings on your finger, showering you with love, and all the time they out with Rodney and them doing the most. And so I know a lot of brothers that are in the life, and when I asked them to be on the show today, they all privately declined. Even when I said, hey, I'll keep you anonymous, I won't put your picture up, I'll call you person A or person B, they didn't want to come on to the show. And I'm thinking to myself, why is it that you want to hide this lifestyle when Black and Latina women are growing in HIV status daily? And why can't you just be accepting of your behavior and leave women out of it?
Well, I got to be honest now. You can't blame people having HIV and AIDS on gay people. I know the people have in their mind.
I didn't say that. But what I'm saying is these people are transmitting it.
But see, no. Straight people have AIDS too, and it didn't just originate with gay people.
No, it didn't. I'm a healthcare provider. I know that. I work with Milwaukee. I work with these people, but the group that I was in, I know. And the group that I was in was all women.
People saying that gay, every time, I'm saying, AIDS and HIV come up, they blame the gay people.
I'm not blaming gay people. I'm speaking the facts that many of these men who are in these relationships are lascivious. They're out here in alleyways and clubs. And the women that I dealt with, all of them had received their infection from being with brothers who was on the down low. That was just the group that I worked with at the time. A lot of the literature that you read talk about Black and Hispanic women, and it always says that it's because of IV drug use, yes, and Black men and Hispanic men on the down low, not using condoms and all these other things. The women that I talked with, they were completely convinced that they were infected by their men who were basically doing both. And also, there's some men, especially in New York, that go around infecting women on purpose. There was one guy, 32 women on purpose. And I don't blame them because as a woman, you should protect your body. You are responsible for your body. But here's the thing also. If you're married or if you're in a committed relationship and you have an honest conversation and you say, this is what we're coming into and this is what we're going to do and this is the type of intercourse that we're going to have, and you don't know that the other person is out there laying with God knows who, God knows what at any time, and they bring you home something. And so, no, I have a brain, a working brain, and I understand that it does not come just from homosexual people or from IV drug users. You can get HIV in the hospital. Let them make a mistake. Like my homeboy who got a needle stick in the hospital and it was over with. It can happen. But guess what? He was also told after that needle stick that he wasn't to have sex with anyone because we were in the military. He did anyway, and he ended up going to prison. But here's the thing. If you do this in the regular society, they don't charge you with attempted murder. Knowing that you're HIV positive or full-blown and having sex with people in some states isn't even a crime. We had
a woman here, and I'm not going to say her name. Because I know the woman. But that woman, she's still
What's her name? No, I'm just saying.
Girl, I can't do that.
No, you can't. HIPAA laws.
She actually has slept with so many men here in Chattanooga to the point where, people, the guys actually went in her mailbox and actually pulling the mail out. She had medicine coming, and she slept with a lot of these dudes, and she did get them AIDS. But I'm telling you, the woman is walking around. She still look normal. And she just going and just tossing it out there. I mean, any given day you could see her in the car with a dude.
Well, I mean, I would think that the men would know the tea by now.
You know what? Believe it or not, I think they have a hard time understanding it. Because, sometimes, like, she's older. And then, you see her with younger guys. You see her with some older guys. Men her age do not touch her because they know. And not to mention, it's like an epidemic around here. They filled up a whole high school little stadium thing with people that tested positive.
Yeah.
They got them all out there, testing them up and everything, and just try to get them worked on. It's a thing. It's a thing everywhere.
Well, because here's the thing. The number one transmitter right now, y'all need to get out your bedroom and look in your children's bedroom, age 14 to 21. 14? I mean, you have these young little girls going to get their first checkup at the gynecologist, and they already HIV positive. And I'm thinking to myself, well, what in the world are they doing at 14 and 15 years old? Everyone kind of lost their mind, back in 2004 when Oprah Winfrey had her, big thing about the down low men or whatever. It was like 2004, 2005. I never saw it, but people were losing their mind talking about it. And also, I believe there was a man on there that had given his wife HIV and all that other stuff. But, and it's not just something that goes on in the Black community. I think it's in many communities. I've seen the white boys with their group sex and their orgies and, and here's the thing. I used to have the stereotype that white people were just nasty. I'm starting to find out that people are just nasty, that some of these people out here and their moral compass is really, really low. I don't want to be in a room where couples are having intercourse. That's a very sacred act. It's not something that I would want to sit in a room. Even the young lady, that was allegedly having the orgy in Atlanta. And I don't really know what happened, but apparently only men showed up or something like that. Because, women don't like things highly publicized about their risque behavior or whatever. And she really publicized that birthday party. And from what I hear, she wasn't even there. She made some comments that she was there. I don't know what happened because I wasn't there. But I thought to myself, who's paying for an orgy? And apparently a lot of people. Apparently a lot of people. Because it was
down there in Georgia.
I mean, it was something, it was a force to be reckoned with, but people traveled to go to it. She ended up having to rent like different venues until it ended up being allegedly in some mansion or something. But I just thought to myself, who in the world is paying to sleep with people? And then you told me about the back page and we did the show on that. Apparently prostitution is still alive and well. And apparently now male prostitution is on the rise. I saw the brothers on Backpage. They weren't shamed. They weren't just showing their butts. They were showing their faces. They were saying, that they would hook you up. They weren't going to be the bottom, but they would be the top. And that's this thing. These black men that I talk to really believe that if they are not being penetrated, they are not homosexual. And I really wish, it's a quiet night tonight. 310-928-7733. It's quiet because this is such a taboo, but it's going on every 5 seconds.
As I say, and this is about the straight women and men that think, you got women that say they're not gay because they say, well, they do me, I don't do them. Ain't nowhere in the hell that somebody finna do that. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Somebody doing it to me is fucking disgusting. That's why I'm not going to do it to anybody. So why would somebody even go through all that with you for nothing? You doing something.
We had the artist Kedra on the show last week, and I was so confused about the aspects of homosexuality or lesbianism, whatever, because I always thought that if you look like, the boy, as they say, that you were the only one pleasuring someone. And it's not like that. Apparently, it's both people doing whatever, or I don't know, but it depends on what you like, apparently, is what they're telling me. So I talked with another woman today, and she said, and she looked like a boy and everything, but she said, oh no, I get pleasure. My girl goes down on me. And I was like, really? Because, cause I was like, oh, because it just didn't look like you should. It didn't look like you should. It says, we have from Kevin Kelly, it says, wow, Charlie Rose just around here masquerading as a journalist with civility, but a freak the whole time. Surprise! We should never get caught up in the well-cultivated persona that any of these projectionists display in the media. Western culture really loves deception. Actors, what do you think about this? I don't know who Charlie Rose is. I'd have to Google him. So I don't know. Apparently you know who he is. I don't look at these people. I don't watch what they're doing. So I don't know who he is. But apparently he's a freak. Here's the thing. I think that you can have this lascivious spirit, lust spirit, all these types of things, regardless of who you are. It doesn't matter whether you're beyond ignorant or whether you're beyond educated. You could be in.
So Charlie Rose.
Did you Google him?
Yes, Charlie Rose got posted by the Washington Post 5 hours ago, following allegations of unwanted sexual advances. Charlie.
Well, here's the thing. Charlie bet me. Look, Charlie bet me. Here's the thing. From Charlie Rose to Charlie Sheen, it's been proven over and over again that these actors and everything are some freaks. I just went to see.
Calls, walking around.
Yes, and I'm really disappointed. I'm really disappointed in the female actresses. See, that's what happens when you want to be called actors instead of actresses. You run around and you're getting raped and molested and all these other things, and you're not saying anything until years later. As a person who has been molested and raped, it angers me that women that have power wouldn't say anything either. Somebody said, please include the John Conyers and Russell Simmons sexual misconduct situations tonight, as Black America comments should be very interesting. Well, I'm talking about down low. These are men who are caught up in rape culture, and that'll be on next week's show, because I really love what Charlemagne the God did, as he gave himself the donkey of the day and realized that he didn't even recognized that he was participating, relatively speaking, in the rape culture that he grew up in like it was normal. And so we're not talking about that tonight. Men that have sex with women are normal to me. Men that have sex with women inappropriately, that's normal to me because I grew up under that same rape culture. Men who are out here running after young girls, that's normal to me as a girl who was run after when she was young, as a woman that's been inappropriately touched by my superiors in the Army, as a woman who was inappropriately touched by family members. These normal behaviors, which are abnormal, but they're normal behaviors to me. I love the way that men are trying to throw off the topic. The topic tonight is men that are sleeping with men behind their woman's back. And so that's what I want to talk about. Now, if we want to talk about the man that grabbed Terry Crews's genitalia in front of his wife, I thought that was a bold move. But Terry Crews is a big dude. I don't know why that dude wasn't knocked out. I don't know why he wasn't punched, but then I've seen Terry Crews swirling around in light sticks and stuff, looking very suspect in movies and percolating his nipples and everything. Maybe that, see, it doesn't sound right when a woman is sexist, but maybe that told that man that his genitalia was available for touches. Because if I was to jump up and percolate my breasts, I would be being attacked by the masses and by the mobs. I remember one time when I just had on my nice little tight, lycra dress, me and my girls, when my body was popping and everything, we went to the club, and I can't tell you how many men sexually assaulted me on my way to the dance floor. And I wasn't a stripper. I was at the club, and so I got my booty smacked so many times on my way to the dance floor that it was just almost normal. You'll see women sometimes turn around and smile or slap a hand like, boy, stop. Because I grew up with construction workers catcalling. I grew up with, men saying, oh, you pretty thing, come here, let me give you a quarter. They was just pumping you for that prostitution, because then same men tried to buy my yoni when I was 15. Once they think you've reached that legal age of consent, they remember I was the brother that kept you laced in all them pickles when you was a little girl, because a pickle used to cost...
Not laced in pickles.
Girl, pickle used to cost a quarter, and the big jumbo pickle in the jar, and all them little dirty old men by my grandmother's house would always give me quarters. They kept me laced in pickles so that I could get their pickle later on in life. But I don't want none of your sour pickles. I don't want any of it, because your pickles is been in too much fertilizer. They've been in booty holes. And I want to listen, they've been fertilized. Them pickles been fertilized. And I'm really shocked because there was so many people commenting on the live, but nobody's calling in, because I think it's a very sensitive subject. I would think
when it comes to homosexuality, people fear that it's too strong of a conversation, especially for men. Men don't feel comfortable indulging in that conversation. Men would be friends with other gay men. This is, heterosexual men will be friends and be cool with a gay man behind closed doors, be friends. But they won't even speak to some of them in public because they don't feel comfortable about the way that people will look at them. And, women love gay men. Women love gay men. They love their company and everything. I love gay men. I love, especially the ones with the makeup and stuff like that. Woo, baby. I like that. But I like men. Okay? Whether they be gay or straight, I like men. I don't look at gay men in a sexual way. But, I do think they're beautiful. I just think men are art.
My male gay friends are gay men who are men, and they understand that they're men, and they never try to step into being a woman. I'm very confused about the ones that have a face full of makeup, a bald head, and high heels. I don't get it. I wish one of them would talk. I don't understand being Miss Larry. Larry, that doesn't even go with Miss. I don't get it. But okay, I can call you jackass, but that doesn't make it so. So calling you Miss Germaine doesn't make you a ma'am, sir. I'm confused. This whole new thing of not being able to call women her and men him, having to refer to these genderless people now as they and them and we. Listen, America, this is getting confusing and foolishness to me. There is a law of gravity and there is a law of attraction, and there is a law of gender. If you didn't know that, go ahead and get the Kabbalion and get yourself some sense here. There's a law of gender. And so we have gender on this planet, and it's in your pants. You don't have to accept it. You don't have to agree to it, but it is in your pants. And so I don't understand when a person with a lingam has a beard, a mustache, and a face full of makeup and eyelashes. It was very confusing to me. And Earlene, the makeup is slayed. I'm not even lying. It be slayed, and I'm like, oh my God, their eyebrows, their
Makeup to me is art. I like, I'm an art student. I graduated from an art school.
Right.
I mean, makeup is art. And I mean, when I tell you that these guys,
they are,
gosh, good Lord.
They are artistically gifted. I'm gonna tell you, but here's the thing. Like my Facebook friend Bonina Brown, he is amazing. Oh my goodness, he turns himself into people. I mean, the 1 minute he is Frozen, the next minute he is the Dalmatian chick, the next minute he is Beyonce, the next minute he's Rihanna. He does all this with contouring, honey, and all these other things, and he is a gay man. And he also is a drag performer, and he does all this stuff, but it's like he understands that he's a man. Now when I see like gay men fighting women, it's confusing.
Okay. First of all, now, sometimes, for whatever reason, women forget that these are still men. Okay.
Mhm.
You cannot, I honestly feel like I don't condone domestic violence. I don't condone, women hit men hit women. But let me tell you something. If a man hit me, I'm going to whoop his ass. And it's the same thing with some people. You just cannot put your hands on people. When you physically violate people, they are going to defend themselves.
That's true. And here's the thing. I can't say that because I was about to say I advocate for violence, but here's the thing. I don't, but I do understand it. I have a condition that if you put your hands on me before I can think about it, I have demolished you. It's a condition. I'm not sure what it's called. The doctor called it blackout syndrome. It actually has a name, but if you put your hands on me, I black out. And when I come to, normally you are torn to pieces, because I have a very short fuse when it comes, or if you spit upon me. If you spit upon me, which seems to be a very thing that is going on a lot lately, is people spitting upon one another. I promise you, don't spit on me. That will get you beat into oblivion on accident, on purpose, because I have this condition. And so, it just comes out of nowhere. And I'm noticing, even though I don't watch television and stuff, I normally will try to check out a few things for the show. And I'm seeing how these reality shows are bringing in, homosexual Black men who are with the makeup and all that, but they're keeping them in altercations with women. That's really messy. I think it's to program America that Black men are effeminate and punks, and that isn't true, but I think that's what they want to portray with that. And so, I could be wrong, but that's the only thing I see that could benefit people in watching that type of behavior between a woman and an effeminate man, or a woman and a gay man. That is a man. If he puts his hands on you, he's going to mollywop you 9 times out of 10. A lot of them are kind of thick and stout, and you just not, a lot of them, I think the gay man I could take is probably Dwight, from what's that, Real Housewives, probably Dwight. But when it comes to like Lawrence and them, I've heard him go deep singing, and I'm like, I just wouldn't put my hands on a man, regardless of whether he had on a dress or not. I've seen some of them.
And I even think that men forget that these men are gay. They think because these men are gay that they can treat these men however they want to. They can verbally abuse and call them faggots. And then, you know what? I've seen so many faggots grab a
Beat
straight
'em.
man, and I'm talking about damn near beat the life out of them. Y'all
Yeah.
better recognize these are still men.
You better redneckinize because here's
Yeah.
the thing. They have had to fight all their life. Like Oprah said, listen, they have had to fight. They are not, there was one on Facebook and he said, you know, my mama had 8 children, you know, he went there. He was like, y'all don't get it twisted. He said the only thing that he changed is tires. That was it. And I mean, he was talking about beating up somebody, and I was scared looking at the video. He had a high voice and all that stuff. He said straight up, like, don't play with me. I know who I am. I'm a man. And so and so. There was also a gay man that had beat his mother's boyfriend, and he beat him senseless and then said, yeah, you thought because I was gay I couldn't whoop your behind. Listen, that's a man. That is a man. I don't care what he's doing with his body. It's a man. 9 times out of 10, a man who's had to defend himself for many years. So the chances are greater that you're going to get your behind whooped faster than he is. And so, it says that, you know, no gay men or straight men are going to call in about this subject, but they're going to listen to it, you know, and this is the thing. I recognize that, and I'm encouraging. I'm getting text messages of people who want to call, but they saying that they're shy. This is radio. Nobody can see you. Nobody can see you. You don't have to give your name.
Right.
You don't have to give your name, but you can call in and give your opinion. This is another thing that's really bothering me now with men. Where is your voice? Where is your voice? Like, when did you all become... Stay sucker free, man. When did y'all become suckers? Like, stay sucker free. Where is your voice? You don't have nothing to say. I know goons back in the day in DC in the projects. I'm talking about stone cold killer projects like River Terrace and Montana Avenue projects, but they was straight, what you call them, homo thugs. I mean, I had a homeboy that got out of jail early and he said straight up, we were talking with him. He was like, yeah, man, because I love a nigga that think he hard. I bend that nigga over and rape him. Ooh. And when I say the whole room got silent.
Yeah, because they don't want homo thug to bend them over.
And he was like, and I ain't gay either, but I tell you what, I'll teach a nigga that he ain't no man.
Well, I tell you,
and I was like, huh?
Anybody who can picture themselves bending somebody over in a room full of people that definitely did it.
He said, oh, he did it. He been in jail. He was in jail for like 20 years. And then I had another friend that told me any man that's been in jail over 5 years, I guarantee you that he's been with a man. And I said, what? I said, well, you've been in for 17. He said, like I said. I was like, wow. So he said, I said, does your girl know? His exact words were, it's none of her damn business. Now, see, that's scary.
You know, I just got to be, you know, I got to speak on that just from, you know, I've never dated anybody that's been in jail like that, but I did have a friend of mine robbed a bank and he was in jail for years. He got out of jail. Now, this is a true story.
Okay.
He went to jail at an early age, and he, like, we'll say he went when he was 14. Mm-hmm. Did not get out until, what, 20?
Mm-hmm.
Now,
wait a minute. He robbed a bank at 14?
Yes.
Good Lord. He wasn't playing. He wanted to take you out. He wanted to take you out.
His family actually took care of me while he was in there and took me on vacation with them, got me clothes, shoes, stuff like that. They changed the fact that he was in jail.
Wow.
Now, this man gets out. He just so happened to be in the flea market where I had my booth at. Him and his girlfriend came and found me, and she said, can you please help him? Now, I don't know what I could have done to help this man, but his girlfriend was present with him, and so was a close friend of his. But I looked into the man's energy, and all I could see was pure faggotry.
My father used to say that word, faggotry. He used to say that word.
And I, you know, he said, you know, I've been angry with you for so many years. It's your fault that I struggle the way that I do. I'm like, well,
what did you do?
Well, because I ended up getting married and having children. I don't
Uh,
have Erlene would not don't have her whole life be waiting on people to get out of prison.
exactly. And here's
That's
the
not
thing.
me.
Here's the thing. You must have been in prison doing it. I mean, I've been dealing with this situation, and I really am not understanding of it a lot. I don't understand it a lot. If you don't put that ringer on vibrate, I
I was
promise you.
trying to put it on there. I am sorry, y'all.
Listen, they know she's
Jesus
on the air
Christ.
when they calling because they trying to make sure she ain't saying their name. She ain't gonna
You,
say no name.
you know what? You know what? The good thing is none of them people got my phone number.
Oh, good. Hallelujah. But ladies, I just don't want you to be a turkey on Turkey Day. It's like a lot of stuff is going on right now. I was reading articles. They got I got a caller who says I have the numbers dialed, but I just got to press call.
Well, come on and press
I
it
mean, press
then.
call, brother, press call. He is not a down low brother. He's just like, I'm shy. I'm like, it doesn't matter. Nobody's going to know
You know
your
what?
name.
I'm shy too. If that make you feel any better, I am very shy.
I will keep you, anonymous because this is the thing. But here's the
And
thing.
need I mind you. Now I gotta say this, Sierra. I gotta, what I'm saying, I know you're gonna
Okay.
have a funky take on it.
Oh,
But
Lord.
when these men go to jail, okay,
Mhm.
now this is a psychological thing. Men go to jail, women go to jail. Okay, so it is a human being's natural instinct to mate. Okay, so there's
Mhm.
no men around. Women, they say women will eventually turn and have sex with each other, men to do the same. So, from a psychological standpoint, if we have one of those psychiatrists that pop up out of nowhere, one of them people that know everything that pop up out of nowhere, where they at tonight where they can tell us if they're still gay, even if there's no man present, there's no woman present to have sex with these people, then they come out into the world again and they get involved in a relationship. Are they still considered as gay? That is my question to all of you. Thought provoking. Got to answer. Call us. Sierra, what's your take? Oh, we got a caller.
Oh,
Hey, caller.
peace. Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay. Hey,
Hi.
Paulie. I guess. What's going on?
Well, I just want to know your take on the subject tonight. I don't know where the host vanished to, but what is your take on the subject tonight? You
My
have any?
take is
Yeah.
yeah, I do have some takes, and it's actually been pressing against my conscience pretty heavily lately. And what you sisters are speaking of tonight is like the extreme manifestation of it. But I'm troubled by even the subtleties. I'm troubled by the lack of positive images being portrayed in the media. I'm troubled by the borderline shit that we're okaying and condoning, like the sagging of the pants and the skinny jeans, and moreover, the brothers that feel entitled. They go into these relationships with these sisters and just kind of like fall back and don't contribute at all and are okay with that. I'm old school OG. Like I can't even fathom living with a woman and me not contributing in no way. I can't fathom her getting up, going to work, and me laying in the bed. And if it's early in the morning, pre-dawn hours in the morning, I'm not at least walking her to her car. I can't fathom that.
So
But that as well.
You take serious the masculine aspect of the
Yeah,
relationship.
and I think it's been systematically removed from the public eye. So now we have a bunch of, and I'm going to hold myself accountable because the generation now are lost when it comes to cues, images, or of what a man is and what a man does
Now,
and how a man moves.
Can I ask you a question? Do you think
Yes,
that it
ma'am.
makes a difference? I heard you mention saggy pants and skinny jeans. Do you think that it makes a difference wearing saggy pants and skinny jeans? Do you think that make a man the less of a man?
I mean, it's imagery. Sis, it's imagery. Like, if you go back, it's all imagery, and psychologically, I mean, you think that, okay, I'm just doing this because it's a fad, but some of these subtleties are having more of a psychological effect on people than we know. And then the younger generation, they're mentally more pliable than we are. You might be firm in your constitution. You might be fortified in what a woman is, how a woman moves. The generation following us are not, because they've been getting mixed messages all throughout their lives. It's okay now. It's okay now to huh?
What's your name?
My name?
Well,
my name is Jabir. My name is Todd Love on Facebook. Todd Love on Facebook.
Todd Love.
Yes,
okay,
ma'am.
Todd Love. Okay, one thing that, I totally feel what you're saying. I do feel like social media and the media and television and everything play a part in a man's behavior. But how do you feel about the men that are on the DL? Do you know
how do I feel about it? I mean,
do you know any?
I mean, of course, I don't know any that's on the DL because they're on the DL. So they keeping it hush. And I don't, I'm not trying to sound narcissistic or egomaniacal. I'm a man's man. So a man that's on the DL is really not going to bring that around me. He's going to keep that secret from me because I'm probably going to confront him. I'm like, hey, bro, like, what's up with your girl? What's up with your wife? What's up with your queen? Like, how could you do that? How do I feel about it? It's at an epidemic proportion. I'm not okay with it. Not at all. I'm not okay with it. And what bothers me the most is that gays got a little strength going. They got a little push to their movement. Their movement is kind of further along than the actual black movement. If you want to be honest, you know what I'm saying? Like right now, the hate crimes, the whole development of hate crimes wasn't because, minorities were getting picked on. It's because homosexuals would be getting picked on. People beat people up and called us niggas for years. It wasn't a hate crime until they started beating people up and calling them faggots. That's when they became hate crimes, and then they just threw us up under there. Okay, yeah, y'all can get some of that too. But like, I don't understand how, if that's what you are with the force behind the gay movement now, why you just don't come out and keep it tall? That baffles me. Why you don't keep it tall?
Okay,
be honest with yourself.
I like that. I like that coming from you, a straight man. That's 100 right there. Because I feel the same way. If you are, then just come out and embrace it. And so we got
to go.
Well, I totally agree with you there. And I also agree with your concept on the masculinity in a relationship. Much respect, much love on that. And so we don't have much time left, and I appreciate you calling in.
That's okay.
And hey, don't be a stranger. Don't be a stranger.
Great show though. Yeah, but it needs to be addressed, and keep doing what you're doing, sis. Peace.
All right, everybody. I have no idea what Sierra vanished to. She's probably doing something magnificent in her absence, but why won't y'all call in and give a comment on this? I mean, this is a subject that needs to be addressed. This is a lot of things that people come and see us, Sierra and I, about. And it's a lot of people that encounter these men that have been in prison. You have some men that have dabbled in the lifestyle. I mean, does it or does it not make them homosexual? Or does it mean that they're bisexual? And a lot of women, I know y'all don't want to call in and give y'all opinions on this because for all we know, you just want to be silent on the subject. You just want to listen. That's fine. But just know that if you call in, it's confidential. We're not going to yell your name out. Feel free to call in. So we had Todd Love come in and talk about the masculinity in a relationship. We had him discuss how he feels about the sagging pants. And I personally do not think that when sagging pants or wearing skinny jeans has a...
Can you hear me, Earl?
Yes, ma'am. You look static, but you're there.
I mean, I was just talking and nobody can hear me. They
have Sierra. They done banded together to cut my internet off tonight. They been outside in their fresh makeup, cutting off my power. Not in fresh makeup. I mean, when I tell you I could hear everything, but I just could not respond. I had to, they was like, put her on mute. We're tired of her talking about it. I heard what my brother was saying, and I just, for me, I can't really agree that imagery makes you get penetrated. I have seen a lot of images in my life. I've seen the images of people swimming the Gulf of Mexico. I ain't gonna do it. I have seen, the images of people committing murder. I ain't gonna do it. I've seen the images of women going to prison. I ain't gonna do it. And so I think that, but I do know as a sexual wellness coach that sensuality and sexuality perverted comes through a lot of imagery. So I understand exactly what he's saying in that aspect. When it comes to sexuality, especially with pornography at the fingertips of even our children, this is something that can really get into your members. This is something that can be detrimental. Like I said, my 9-year-old was told about Pornhub at school by one of his elementary school classmates. And I'm thinking to myself, what? But here's the thing. These children are walking around in school with $700 and $800 and $900 telephones. I don't even understand why you give a child that age pornography at their fingertips. My daughter was on this website, Musically. It was supposed to be for little kids to lip sync. It was little girls on there doing the most. I'm not even going to lie. I told her she had to get off because they were twerking and they were little girls. And I thought, well, isn't this just a pedophile's dream, a pedophile's dream? But I was wondering, where were the parents? Where are the parents when it comes to watching your daughters and your sons get involved in all this? There was a young man years ago that had made a fortune selling his body. He was a young boy. He was on a talk show. I want to say it was Oprah. And he had told his mother that he was going to different conventions and stuff. And he was just going to lay up with men. They were paying him. He was masturbating on the internet for money. And all this was like when the internet kind of first came out. And so, imagery has been responsible for a lot of things. But when it comes to you thinking that you're going to leave the natural use of a woman and just go lay with a man, I think you have to have some type of desire for that already. I don't know. What do you think, Darlene? Well, I think that men have a desire for men already to lay with them. And to be honest, and I know this kind of far-fetched. What? Huh? I do think that men have to have a desire for men already to lay with them. No, did you say you think that men already have that desire, or you think some men? I think that some men, if a man sleeps with another man, he had to already have a desire for a man. That's what I believe. Yeah, that's what I'm saying too. I believe that too. I don't believe that imagery can make you want to do that. I think you already have to have some type of curiosity for it. Like that is very serious. And I don't believe that every man that goes to jail has sex with men, or every woman. I believe that people can withstand from sex, for many years or for the rest of their life. They vow to it, but. Because if I go to jail, I'm going to be a Buddhist monk. Or were you going to be a Buddhist monk, or are you going to be a booty monk? I mean, I just don't feel that this can be solved. I'm so thankful for the brother that called in and having the courage to call in. I know that I talked to a lot of brothers who tell me that they got caught up in pornography very early, that they were shown pornography even by their uncles, by their, older brothers, by family members, and all of these things. And I think that's really terrible. And, but I've heard people tell me that
they tried homosexuality because they watched it on the internet and stuff. But I really just believe that you have to be desiring that already. I believe you have to already be desiring to be with a man. I don't think that that's something that just comes upon you. I am very confused at it, but I'm attracted to men. And I do find women very beautiful, but I just don't want to sleep with them. So where's that space where a man says, oh, he's handsome, and then goes, I think I want to give him some? That's the place where
now, I think that those men already want to give a man some. I mean, there is no blame it on the cocaine. There's no blame it on the alcohol. There's no simple slip and fall in somebody's mouth, somebody's butt, somebody's vagina, or somebody's tail. You don't just slide in there by mistake. Okay,
right.
A simple yes or no would change your life. And some people like that change in life. Some people like that change in lifestyle, but it's not a mistake. You don't make mistakes. There's no such thing as coincidence as a mistake. Either you did it or you didn't and you wanted to. That's why you did it. Now, rape is another thing.
Right.
Even if a person was molested when they were a child, that does not destine them to be a homosexual or be a lesbian.
I know some brothers that were, and they are not gay, and they're fully heterosexual, and they don't play that mass. They were children, and they were taken advantage of. And I don't really know if I believe the whole, because I was really shocked to see that one of my favorite singers is now engaged to Donnie McClurkin. Knowing his past, I was like, I couldn't have done it. I was like, I couldn't have done it. But, he says that he doesn't sleep with men anymore and so on and so forth. But I don't know if I could be with a man that has received that much lingam inside of him. I don't know if I could do that. I just don't know. I don't know if I could be with a man that's received any lingam inside of him. It's an automatic turn off for me. It's just not something that I'm going to tolerate or put up with. If I know about it, if I didn't know and I found out about it, bye. All that type of stuff for me, because it's just, as a woman, I just don't get it. And even if you try to explain it to me, guess what? I don't get it. So that's what I have to say about that. I just don't get it. I wish that we had more men that were willing to, but you know what, Early, I don't really think they get it either. So I understand. I mean, the men that
you can't really expect, like, a straight man can't really understand. Yeah, if he's never been in that situation, he can't understand.
I'm talking about the men that are doing it.
Oh, well, you know what? Now, you know what? I am. Whatever happened with my my friend today? His publicist or manager didn't call me in a timely manner. Everybody knows that I'm busy. Maybe he did call and I missed it. But he would have been the perfect candidate to get on here and open up, because he's not ashamed. And he does his own thing dealing with the public and talking to people openly about sexuality of homosexual men. And there is a lot of supposedly straight men that run after him. I've witnessed it. I mean, the boy got a butt like a stack of bricks.
Then they're not straight. See, that's what I'm saying. Then they're not straight.
Hey, I don't tell them that they straight, but they say that they are. I can't argue with them. It's look, and we just on the outside of these booties looking at them. We don't know. We on the outside of the booty. Okay, we not inside the booty.
Well, like my girl said, it's a booty hole. I can't. I can't. All right, so I tell you all what, I don't know if I can continue this next week. As you all don't really want to talk about it, but it's something that has hit home and slapped me in the face lately, because I thought the download was dead, and I found out that it isn't. It's alive and kicking and out here hiding in Piedmont Park in Atlanta, Georgia, and whatever park they're doing it in. But that's the park I know when I lived in Atlanta that kept being in the paper for this. And so you can reach me at SierraTorres.com or 254-466-3965. This is a big business. Please don't call me asking me out for a date. I'm not interested, especially if you're on the down low. Earlene, tell them how to reach you.
You can reach me at 423-320-2215. Viewed in Raw Spiritual, Earlene White McConnell on Facebook. Happy Thanksgiving, turkey.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Don't let nobody stuff
you. Where your man is sticking his drumstick, ladies.
Turkey boys.
on grown folks' business. Gobble, gobble.
I know you're used to letdowns and heartbreaks, lost in silhouettes of your heartaches. I can show you better.